Hello and welcome to English Parliamentary News. I'm Afia Jufri. In this edition, we'll present all the latest and interesting information around the House of Representatives of the Republic of Indonesia. Rampant cases of sexual harassment have made it urgent for the Legislation Committee of the House to push the deliberation of the Sexual Violence Eradication Bill, or the PKS Bill, to be enacted into law soon.
Vice Chairperson of the Legislation Committee of the House, WILLY ADITYA, explained there is no legal protection for sexual violence cases victims. He adds, later this law will contain detailed new norms which can be used as legal standing for law enforcement officers to impose a policy in dealing with sexual violence cases.
Payung hukum legal standingnya belum ada. Selama ini pendekatannya selalu ke pelaku, ya. Sehingga korban tidak mendapatkan perlindungan. Dan kemudian itemnya pun, jenis-jenisnya pun itu terbatas yang ada di dalam KUHP. Ya.
Meanwhile, other member of the Legislation Committee of the House, KETUT KARIYASA ADNYANA, says, so far, the legal protection of sexual violence is not clear. As for violence that occurs in workplaces and even in the community level, it makes the victims find it difficult to report or take the legal action. KETUT KARIYASA asserts the Sexual Violence Eradication Law must provide security for all levels of society in order to realize protection role of the state.
Jika terjadi kekerasan seksual itu susah kita menindaklanjuti secara proses hukum karena payung hukumnya belum jelas. Nah, dan di KUHP itu belum tercantum, makanya undang-undang ini nanti akan memberikan jawaban. Nah, tentu undang-undang ini adalah bagaimana perlindungan terutama terhadap wanita-wanita, kan begitu.
Mario Hasiholan, TVR Parlemen, report.
Commission 3 of the House pushes the ratification of Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters, or the MLA bill, between Indonesia and Russia so that law enforcement officers can take action and trace crimes including money laundering, taxation fraud, and human trafficking committed by Indonesian citizens in Russia.
Member of Commission 3 of the House, ADDE ROSI KHOERUNNISA, says mutual relations agreement in criminal matters between Indonesia and Russia is urgently needed. Because, according to her, currently there are many money laundering and tax crimes committed by Indonesian citizens in Russia. But Indonesian law enforcement officials have not been able to prosecute this decisively. ADDE KHOERUNNISA continues, the MLA treaty with the Russian government will benefit Indonesia to trace, investigate, and confiscate of the proceeds of any financial crimes. She says the extradition treaty between Indonesia and Russia to strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries.
Entah itu money laundering, entah itu perpajakan, dan lain hal sebagainya. Untuk kayak tadi bisa menelusuri, nge-track, dan menjelajahi aset-aset warga negara Republik Indonesia yang tadi melakukan kejahatan di negara luar, khususnya di Rusia.
ADDE ROSI KHOERUNNISA highlights the human trafficking cases that often occurs at the international level, including in Russia. Therefore, she assessed the MLA bill will provide Indonesia government legal standings in preventing and anticipate crimes committed by Indonesian citizens abroad. ADDE ROSI KHOERUNNISA also appreciates the performance of the Law and Human Rights Ministry and Foreign Affairs Ministry for the extradition agreement with the Russian government.
Jadi kami sangat apresiasi pemerintah Republik Indonesia, dalam hal ini Kementerian Luar Negeri dan juga Menteri Hukum dan HAM yang terus melaksanakan hubungan kerjasama dengan berbagai negara. Kemarin Swiss telah kita lakukan, sekarang Rusia, insya Allah kedepannya dengan negara-negara besar yang lain.
Hilman Hidayat and Bahri, TVR Parlemen, reports.
Following the leak of the President Joko Widodo vaccine certificate on social media and complaints related to data protection of the PEDULI LINDUNGI application, Vice Speaker of the House SUFMI DASCO AHMAD ensures that deliberation of Personal Data Protection Bill will be immediately completed.
Speaking at the Nusantara 3 building of the House, Senayan, Jakarta recently, SUFMI DASCO AHMAD says, related to the number of public complaints against the PEDULI LINDUNGI application, the Minister of Health has explained that the application still continues to being improved. Related to the data leakage, SUFMI DASCO says the protection of personal data bills is urgently needed at this time, so that data leaks including president's citizenship, identification numbers exposed to the public does not occur in the future.
Dalam keterangannya, Menteri Kesehatan di Komisi 9 bahwa data atau aplikasi Peduli Lindungi itu terus diprogres untuk disempurnakan sambil kemudian diimplementasikan ke masyarakat.
SUFMI DASCO asks the government not to blame and throw responsibilities at each ministries regarding data leakage. He urged all related parties to sit together to find the best solution.
Sudah berulang kali kita bilang bahwa perlindungan data pribadi itu penting, sehingga hal-hal seperti ini yang paling terakhir adalah sertifikat vaksin Pak Jokowi kemudian beredar di media sosial.
Zikri and Denus, TVR Parliament, reports.
The Committee for Interparliamentary Cooperation or BKSAP of the House holds a meeting with the region of Bogor, academics and students throughout the Bogor district to socialize BKSAP Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs Day.
Chairperson of the BKSAP FADLI Zone conveys BKSAP SDGs Day is a public forum aimed to absorb aspiration from various stakeholders, especially regarding parliamentary diplomacy in supporting efforts to optimize potency of regions in achieving national interest in a global level. FADLI Zone states SDGs have become a framework for the Bogor government's programs. Even though he admits the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic conditions has impacted the local economy. Therefore, FADLI Zone expects sustainable development goals can be achieved optimally in Bogor Regency.
Ada 17 goal atau tujuan itu, saya kira ini yang sangat penting karena ini adalah tahun-tahun di mana kita harus merealisasikan meskipun di tengah pandemi COVID.
FADLI Zone says Bogor is one of the regions that always have been innovative and creative to achieve development goals as stated in the Bogor Regional Medium-Term Development Plan or for the 2018 until 2023, which focus on optimizing regional development throughout various fields.
Dengan jumlah penduduk di atas 5,5 juta, tentu perlu kerja keras dan kerja cerdas, dan BKSAP tentu mendukung berbagai kegiatan yang terkait diplomasi parlemen, termasuk menjadi jembatan ya bagi aspirasi di pemerintah kabupaten kota, provinsi, perguruan tinggi, dan masyarakat pada umumnya.
FADLI Zone fully supports various sustainability activities, including parliamentary diplomacy efforts, to play as communication in responding aspirations of the local, district, city, and provincial governments, as well as universities and the community. From Bogor Regency, Syamsul Fajri, TVR Parliament, reports.
Commission 1 of the House supports Indonesian government to encourage Afghanistan post-Taliban takeover to value diversity and peace.
This was conveyed by a member of Commission 1 of the House Sukamta during a working meeting of Commission 1 with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Retno Marsudi, recently. Sukamta says the Minister of Foreign Affairs explicitly says that Taliban is very different from ISIS and Al-Qaeda, so it is necessary to encourage the Taliban to be inclusive and not accommodate any terrorist activities. Sukamta adds Indonesia's recognition of the Taliban is possible if the Taliban regime can realize their promises, which is to form an inclusive government. Therefore, Indonesia still have to wait for the progress of these promises and its implementation.
Secara retorika menunjukkan tanda-tanda positif, tetapi terus harus kita dorong supaya betul-betul mereka itu inklusif, menghargai Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, kebinekaan maksudnya, juga menghargai perempuan, mereka ini menggalang perdamaian.
Concur with Sukamta's statement, a member of Commission 1 of the House, Dev Akbar Shafi Karno says, regarding Indonesia's attitude towards the Taliban, Commission 1 of the House together with the government have agreed to wait for the progress in Afghanistan. He assessed it must also be recognized through agreements with other countries. But he emphasizes efforts are needed to prevent spillover effect and uncontrolled migration from Afghanistan that might burden the government and Indonesians.
Jangan sampai ada spillover effect, karena kan ada belasan atau ratusan puluhan ribu ya pengungsi Afghanistan, itu mereka tersebar ke berbagai macam dunia. Nah itu jangan sampai akhirnya Indonesia menjadi negara destinasi daripada refugee tersebut dan akhirnya membebani pemerintah ataupun warga Indonesia.
Fitian and Koko, TVR Parliament reports.
Commission 7 of the House expresses its strong commitment to support the realization of clean energy in Indonesia to meet the national energy needs.
Speaking after receiving a visit from the Danish ambassador at the Nusantara I building Jakarta recently, Vice Chairperson of the Commission 7 of the House, Edi Suparno says, by 2030, Denmark has set a target to be free from fossil energy. There becomes one of the leading countries to use the green energy. At the same time, the development of Indonesian new and renewable draft bill, which is currently being deliberated, and the progress of green energy in Indonesia were also being discussed at the meeting. Meanwhile, Indonesia's renewable energy in the national energy mix targeted to 23% by 2025.
Banyak juga yang telah kita bahas terkait kerjasama yang bisa dicapai antara Indonesia dengan Denmark, karena memang banyak sekali pengusaha-pengusaha Denmark di sektor energi baru dan terbarukan ingin masuk Indonesia.
A member of Commission 7, Dia Roro ST adds, Denmark has become one of the countries that has transitioned from being dominated by fossil energy to a greener energy. As for now, 60 to 80% of the electrical energy mix in Denmark has used a renewable energy. Dia Roro expects, in the future, Indonesia can also continue to move towards a greener and renewable energy.
Indonesia sekarang itu sangat amat mengarah terhadap transisi energi. Di samping ada komitmen internasional COP21 dengan 29% emisi reduction di tahun 2030, ada target 23% tahun 2025 renewable energy. Di samping ada komitmen itu, kita tahu ini sesuatu hal yang mendesak, maka kita mendorongnya.
The discussion of ABT bill at Commission 7 of the House has opened initiatives from several countries to visit the House and to discuss the proposed bill. ADDE, TVR Parliament reports.
A member of Commission 6 of the House, Muhammad Toha, supports steps taken by the Ministry of SOEs to merge state-owned port operators PT Pelindo 1, 2, 3, and 4 into one company, namely PT Pelabuhan Indonesia. Despite expanding their business globally, this merger is expected not to leave its regional system.
Muhammad Toha says with the member plan, it is hoped that in the future, the National Port Development Strategy can be used as an integrated roadmap. By becoming one company, various operational and service problems, along with carrier shipping time, can be maintained in all ports in Indonesia.
Kita harapkan dengan merger atau penggabungan ini nanti punya visi internasional. Tapi yang kedua, meskipun punya visi internasional, global, itu jangan meninggalkan sistem regionalisasi.
Muhammad Toha hopes that the investment allocation from the company can be more optimal, both nationally and internationally, and contribute to the national economy.
Perencanaan nasionalnya disamakan agar tidak sendiri-sendiri. Kemudian konektivitasnya itu nanti juga akan bisa rapih begitu loh, tidak mempunyai kebijakan sendiri-sendiri. Kemudian juga standarisasi operasionalnya itu ya, standarisasi termasuk kinerja, termasuk SDM-nya ada standarisasi.
Andre, TVR Parliament report.
The Center for the Study of State Financial Accountability, or PKAKN, the Secretariat General of the House of Representatives, holds a national seminar entitled Conditions and Obstacles in Increasing Regional Fiscal Independence. Through this seminar, PKAKN encourages optimization of fiscal decentralization to support regional autonomy.
A member of Commission 11 of the House, Putri Aneta Komarudin, conveys regional fiscal independence became the main point on the revision of the law on central and regional financial relations. considering there are still many regions in Indonesia whose finances depend on the central government. Therefore, Putri Komarudin hopes regions can maximize the potency of regional income and can easily access their own financial system. Local governments must be able to manage their regional finances, including the use of the COVID-19 handling budget.
Hanya sedikit daerah yang mampu untuk memanage keuangannya dan menyerap anggarannya secara dengan cepat, sementara banyak sekali daerah yang mengalami kesulitan. Padahal kita tahu dalam saat seperti ini, saat yang sangat urgen, di mana daerah juga membutuhkan dana tersebut untuk menangani kesehatan, berhubungan dengan keselamatan manusia, tentu persoalan administrasi itu tentu harusnya tidak menjadi halangan ya untuk mereka bisa melayani masyarakatnya dengan baik.
Meanwhile, the head of PKAKN of the Secretariat General of the House, Helmizar, conveys there are only 7 provincial, district, and city government whose regional finances are already independent. Helmizar asserts local governments need to carry out innovations in maximizing their revenue.
Pada saat pandemi pun ada beberapa kabupaten kota yang pendapatan asli daerahnya itu yang meningkat. Bagaimana menghilangkan pandemi COVID di kabupaten, kota, dan provinsi masing-masing, itu yang paling penting. Lalu meningkatkan ekonominya. Dengan meningkatkan ekonomi, otomatis pendapatan asli daerah juga akan meningkat.
The House assesses the government needs to evaluate the implementation of regional autonomy and fiscal decentralization because during the 2 decades of implementing this policy, there has been no fundamental change regarding the level of regional financial independence. From Jakarta, Amita Pradita, TVR Parliament, report.
And that rounds up this edition of English Parliamentary News. On behalf of all the crews of Parliament, we would like to thank you for your attention. We'll meet again in the next edition of English Parliamentary News. From me, Afia Jufri. Once again, thanks for watching and goodbye.